All right, hey guys, we are here now with the Week 4 POJ, the POJ. However you say it's a soft G, J sound. Don't ask 2.0 about how to say GIF or GIF. Who knows? That'll end you a long discussion. But we are here with the Week 4 podcast preview. I got Kurt with me, and I got Rob Masson with me here tonight. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing great. Do people know who Kurt is?
Cannonball? Is that?
Yeah,
is
there
that
we go. Just want to make sure.
I mean,
The
you've
man,
been
the myth, the legend.
cannonballing. You've been cannonballing ever since your days at the Y, huh?
Listen, man. I got a belt. I'm always building the brand.
I like your shirt on there. I like the shirt. It says the Y. It's the official old school shirt there.
It is. That's why I wore it. I mean, I didn't think it's because anyone wanted to see these pale white arms, but this is my favorite RFHL shirt. This is reversible. Remember that?
It is. I do.
So we had home and away.
Home and away.
And it had the best RFHL team ever.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, baby. Sharknadoes.
Every once in a while, I miss the Y. I miss just playing there. We had the track that overhung half of the so it would bounce off the ceiling all the time. The pucks would go crazy off the ceiling. I didn't play in the Rockwall days, but if you ask any of the old vets like Newberry and Hook, are oh my gosh, the Rockwall that cut in 10 feet of the gym, even smaller than it was.
Yeah, there was a tree house where you could climb up and watch the game from in the tree house. We also had our benches set up in the corner behind mats. So you literally were out on the floor while they were playing. So you're catching stray pucks and everything, and guys would occasionally tumble out the exit door.
When it wasn't the stat keeper behind one of the benches that had to watch.
And it was tight. It was tight quarters behind that bench when you first went in to the left because the scoreboard was there, and then Jeremy was usually the one doing the book back then, and it was just tight. And I remember I'm not going to mention the goalie, but after a tough goal, he was on my team, by the way, threw his goalie stick. It almost decapitated me. There was
no flipping. Yeah, that's where the no flipping sticks came, was from the Y. Flipping everybody's sticks up into the rafters.
Well, no, that was Zach Davis. That was Zach Davis. Remember how he used to flip the stick and I was one of the rookies at one point where he would flip the stick and would go up above, almost hit the ceiling. So
or Jeremy and John would just toss each other's sticks up into the balcony when they would get in arguments. But yeah, it was a quirky place to play. We had to clean up things just like we do in the new gym. We'd have to move out the balance beams and move all the boarding equipment out. And we'd have to occasionally stop a game because someone wanted to go upstairs to use the rower or something. Guys would just, an old guy just come walking in the middle of the game with the pucks flying at him and stuff.
I remember that. Yeah. Somebody's trying to get up. We're wait, stop. And they didn't even know. They just walked right into the gym when we were playing.
Yeah. And if you can believe it, no refs. Remember no refs, Rob? Were you in there before refs?
No, I was. Okay. We always had refs.
Let me tell you, as annoying as the refs can be to all the players, the time before ref was so much more annoying because guys would argue for 10 minutes over goal, no goal. We'd all just be sitting down. Our muscles would be icing over. We'd get out of there 11:30 at night. So the refs.
So if you don't like the refs,
yeah,
just know we could have that. So
yeah, if you like your free time and stuff, yeah.
Well, we do have people coming in from the gym right now, and that sometimes people are oh, what are you doing on the floor? But the people are more prone to go from the entrance to the door now, or the people who had to go to the Y who would be that's a little bit more of a journey. It was right behind the goal. So, and then you had to be open and lock that door. And if you didn't open and lock that door quick, people were all over you.
All right. Well, that was fun. That was a little trip down memory lane. All you guys out there, I'm sure you guys
15 years, baby.
I miss the Y. I'm happy to be in the school. I've actually now played more seasons in the school than I have at the Y. I'm at 8 in the school and 7 at the Y. So the Y, the school is officially my longest tenured home now. So
crazy. Time flies.
All right, I'm gonna start off by one thing I want to talk about. We're gonna do a little chat in here, answer some questions. Rob's got some questions for us. It's like school on a Sunday night. And then we're gonna get in the preview, and we're gonna preview week 4 here. So I know one thing that I was gonna end up talking about was the announcement that was made. So we had the announcement that went up in the Discord. So if you're not using Discord, you should be. But basically, we reached out to the National Ball Hockey League. They are a professional league that puts on all cities across the country, and they do stories on like local community hockey leagues. And we got in touch with them. Actually, Paul Paradine plays in it. Mike Curry, one of the new rookies, Brad and Bob, Dave King plays in it. I know I did. Shane Ryan, a couple other guys have. I probably forgot about you. I'm really sorry. Played in it before in the Buffalo League. But yeah, they're gonna do a story on us. So Kurt, in the next couple of weeks, is gonna be taking some videos of us playing, setting up, and then they're gonna do like an internet cover story, like a news article about us. I'm talking to that guy this week, all about it. I am just super pumped. Like, I love this league. This league means a lot to me. It is my life. I haven't done anything else on a Wednesday. I told the guy in like 8 years. I always do RFHL. When I was on the phone with him, he's like, "Wait, so you do spring and fall?" And I was like, "Yeah." We also have a winter and a summer. And he's like, "So you could play like year round?" I was like, "Yeah, we got maybe like 4 or 5 weeks out of 52 that like we don't have a league night." So he was super impressed. I'm really looking forward to it. This has been, Kurt, I know you've mentioned it periodically about like doing a ESPN 30 for 30 on our league. This is kind of like a little bit of it. What's going to happen? I'm just super pumped. We're probably going to get a ton of messages and emails about trying to join our league. And but it's awesome. I am super excited about it. I love talking about the league. I love the league. So yeah, so that'll be coming around in the next couple weeks. So Kurt, what's on your mind?
Awesome. Good job. What's on my mind is hey, we got pictures coming up. As you can see, Sweet has a awesome background with pictures.
There's my pictures
popping up. I've been doing those ever since I joined the league. I think I played one season. I joined in season 2. We're going on season 30 here. I joined in season 2. I don't think I did pictures that first season, but then every season since then, I've always done photos. The team photos are fun. I know we have a lot of rookies who have never experienced it, but the guys really go all out. Everyone brings in props. Usually the captains and teams kind of collaborate over what they want to do. This year, I'm going to do something obviously with the natural disaster. I'm going to harness AI and make it my bitch and have us be in all kinds of different natural disaster scenarios. So if you want to message me privately and just let me know what your idea is so we can make sure that, you know, we're set up well for it, just let me know. It's always a fun night. You'll run a little later, but it's going to be a blast. So talk with your teams and come up with some cool ideas that you can do. What about you, Rob? What's on your mind?
We're always on time. I run a tight ship.
So what I have to say for this week is all the subs that were there last week. We had 4 goalies, regular goalies play, and we were missing quite a few people. Guys, you don't want to miss picture week. We started to look at who had the current Ironman streak in the RFHL for consecutive games play. And I remember Sweet said something to me about Bob Haynes being the guy who's played the most consecutive games currently. So we're looking for the Cale Ripkins of this league. We, you know, especially your top first couple of rounds, guys. We want to see the best games possible, and same thing from our goalies. So you know, you got your kids and all that stuff. You got to make the RFHL I'm just kidding. Got to make the RFHL your priority. Your kids play can wait. No, I'm just kidding. But
this is why I don't have any kids, Rob. This is
exactly.
I decided I gave up that sacrifice for you guys, just so you guys know. I don't have any kids because you are my.
What a selfless act.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Scoring all your goals on the floor.
We have that week every season where like there's a whole bunch of people who miss that week, and I am hoping that week 2 is that week for the RFHL because there's a lot of subs out there, and we want to see everybody's teams at full capacity. So So I wanted to start our first segment off of this POJ podcast by talking about a player you've never played with, and why would you like to play with them, and why?
All right, who do you want to go first?
Let's have you go first, as I see Kurt had some, looks like you just brought a tray of brownies or something there.
He's got a prop in my background. He's got a prop in my background. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
all
cool
right,
is that?
somebody that I haven't played with. I went through with a list, and there haven't of the current players this year, not including players of my own round,
right,
and not including any of the rookies. Besides, I mean, I played with Mark, but the guy that I haven't played with. There's only 3 guys, like 3 main guys that have played around the same amount of time I have. But the guy on my list, my top of the list would be Ramsey. I haven't played with Ramsey. I like his hockey smarts. He's got really good positioning. He passes really well, and that's something that I like to do. I think we might struggle with passing it back and forth to each other because neither of us want to shoot it. I'd be like, you shoot it. No, you shoot it. No, you shoot it. Back and forth. But he makes really good runs to the back post. Sorry to give away your gameplay on Ramsey. Blow up your spot, but he does make really good runs to the post, and yeah, he's just a hard-nosed player, and I just haven't played with him. I mean, he's been around since my rookie season. He was a goalie to start, might have hindered my chances to play with him, just how the draft fell. But yeah, my guy would be Ramsey.
Okay, sounds good. And how about Kurt wearing his own version of the?
I know. I wanted to.
I was on this team of, I believe, if I recall correctly,
yeah,
with
trying to match up the
with
seasons
Schultz and Ramsey.
There
Actually,
you go.
So, Kurt, who would be your player that you've never played with, and this is your 29th season? So,
yeah, there's not a lot. That's a pretty slim list.
It's a slim list.
A lot of guys have had to suffer through playing with me. Ever since he joined the league, I've been so impressed with the trajectory that John Haran is on.
Yep.
He is such a solid player, consistent player. He's passionate. He's quietly passionate. He's a super quiet guy. He gets his hackles up every now and then, usually about calls he doesn't agree with. But for the most part, he's just such a steady presence. And man, does he have a shot? I remember when he first started playing, I'm like, you have such a great shot. He's like, I don't have a shot. He totally has a shot. Yeah. I think anybody who plays against him knows you can't sleep on him. I don't think he's just a good role player. I think he's a good calming presence on a team. I think every team needs that one player that can just kind of calm the team down when they get heated and help them keep their heads in the game so things don't get out of control. So yeah, that would be my person I would pick.
Okay. And, I kind of wanted to chime in here a little bit as well. I would say the player I haven't played with yet in the spring or the fall league is Paul Fridman. I have played in tournaments with him with the RFHL and the summer league, but I want to see, I just like his defensive presence. So I feel like, Sweet brought up Ramsey and Sweet going back and forth passing the puck. I feel like Ramsey or Fridman and I would be like, more defensive minded. That'd be kind of cool to see how that would work out. I mean, I say Paul Fridman, but I've played with Glenn. Haven't been on the same team as Ellen before, though. So I'd say Paul and Ellen Fridman would be my picks for this segment. So I wanted to move it along to the next segment. We were talking a little bit about the glory days of the RFHL. Sweet, Kurt, and I have had a lot of combined seasons. But who would you say from RFHL past you'd want to see back in the league? We'll go with Kurt this time.
Okay. Shoot, I wish I would have put on a shirt with one of the teams I played on these guys with. If it were me, I would have to say, without a doubt, Jeff Burge is one of my favorite guys to play with, one of the best transitional players in the league. Yeah. Sweet and I were talking about it earlier, and Sweet agrees. He would totally thrive in this new environment.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. He played in the Y for years. He would always play when we'd field ball hockey teams at Bill Gray's. He'd always take part in that. He was one of the founding nice guys who played on the nice guys Winter Classic team. But he just so solid. You can always count on him. He's always there when you need him to be there. He can always score a goal from anywhere. He's a great defenseman. And then one other guy who I really miss and I love playing with, and I think who would love the high energy that we have in this league and all the exciting rookies and top scorers would be Mike Bryant. I think rookie Jake has given him a run for hardest slap shot ever. But Mike was a good guy. He could take dives with the best of them too. So
yeah.
I hope he sees this.
Oh, I hope he does. I'll actually send him a link and make sure. He's in Florida now, so I think he would agree.
And Sweet, same question to you.
Well, first of all, Checks.
Talking about throwback right there.
Oh man.
Sponsor of hockey. Checks. Cinnamon checks tonight. I got cinnamon checks tonight. Let's see here. Who would I play with? I would like to play with, bring back to the league. Well, first of all, I'll give a shout out to this like sick hat. That's Andy Govan. He used to play in the league. He lasered this. So if anybody wants one, let me know. I don't really want to play with him though.
He's not going to come back. He's not.
He's not going to come back. I don't even. We
he's
didn't play
too
well
sophisticated
together, so.
for us these days.
Yeah, forget it. Yeah, he was on. I think he's on this one right here. Yeah,
there
he's right
he is.
there. He's right there. So yeah, we didn't play well together. So never mind. I don't want to play them. I would say I want to play with Jamie Habas, Roto Rooter. Because now that we've started counting blocks, like, you mean to tell me we don't have Jamie in to know how many blocks he would get? Like, he would get like at least 40 a game. Like, the dude was a machine at blocking shots. Look, I think I got a picture of him. I think this is our championship team. There he is. There's Jamie. Jamie would block every single shot. I picked him like a round and a half early that season, and everybody's like, "Wait, what are you doing?" I'm like, "He's gonna block 1,000 shots," and that's exactly what I want. Plus with Frankie in that, like,
I know, and then Frankie behind him.
Yeah,
did anybody score any goals on your team that season?
I was gonna say that's.
We almost had the first shutout with like a minute left, and then Brad.
Oh
scored.
my gosh!
But yeah, I would say Jamie. I'll give a quick shout out to Al. Al, he's somewhere out there in the world, back in Massachusetts. Al is kind of like Burge. I think Al and Burge, those two in this gym would dominate. Oh my gosh!
I loved playing with Al.
Yeah. All right, Rob. What about you?
Al's kind of the one who brought us back from the pandemic. We started playing and then started doing the outside. So Al's definitely a pioneer to the RFHL, and I hope we get him back someday. It was tough for me to come up. There were so many different names that went through my head, but I really like playing with Blazy. The intensity that Blazy brought as a goalie, to the point he was such a good goalie. People would, like, all three forwards be like, "All right, we're gonna play forward," and Blazy can just pick up the slack. Poor guy. When I played with them, but then I could see him giving us that look like, "All right, you better play defense." And definitely one of the most intense guys I've ever played with. But one of the best goalies I've ever played with. And Kurt and I actually even played up at MCC back in the day with them when they had the floor hockey leagues up at MCC or Bill Gray's or chicken fillet, whatever.
Yeah, he was very intense, but he had such a great sense of humor. He had a very dry sense of humor.
Yes,
and he'd get a little smirk when he'd say things. But yeah, he was a very imposing guy. Like, he looked like he was going to kick your ass if you went too hard at him in the net. So.
And then when we did play at Bill Gray's with him, his wife actually ended up playing, and
Michelle,
she actually, I wouldn't say she, leveraged him at all. Like, it wasn't like don't do this, but she was like kind of his calming presence. But dude, he was a lot of fun to play with. So good dude.
Right.
So now I wanted to talk about a little bit of current events, so to say. With week 3 behind us, I want to do a bit of a player spotlight for every RFHL team this week. Who really impressed you last week, Sweet?
So I would say my guy last week, and like any time that I've ever played with him, he played a long time ago at the Y and then came back. I didn't even know that he was like a veteran. I had to dig back into the research, but that would be John Botts. He came back. He's been back. And I had him on my team last season. And he's in there. He's in the picture. And every week, whether or not it's a goal or an assist, but usually it has been a goal, he scores. He gets 1 point a week. That's fantastic. If you can get that from your 6th or 7th round, the bonus round player, that's like a 1 goal a game guy, like, he just goes out there. He knows where to be. He's in a good spot. I like playing with him. He gets a goal a game. That's we would joke, and he'd get his goal and come out and be like, "All right, I'm done." Like, you got the goal. So Blotz. I'll toss it over to Blotz. He gets one. He gets one a game usually. So
sure. And Kurt, who's a player you've noticed around the Derek Couture?
Oh, that's a nice transition. Speaking of 1 goal per game, guys, let's go to Kurt. No, I'm playing with Blotz, and you hit the nail on the head, Sweet. He is great. The first week when we were playing, I was like, oh, geez, I don't know if this guy's going to really ever get back on defense. He seems kind of tentative out there. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, he's been great. He's playing like he's helping our team. I think we're all pacing each other with intensity. We're all keeping up the same level of intensity. Surprisingly few penalties, but I like that he can score. He's a great scorer, and he's one of those sneaky ones. He reminds me of how D'Angelo used to be before everyone knew that he could put up goals from that one spot that he loves to score from.
Yeah.
That's what Blotzer can do, and he's been scrappy in by the net too, which is what we need. And I think the most important thing that any kind of role player, I say this fully as a role player myself, can do is when they can go up against the top player on the other team and make their life difficult enough that they're not racking up 10 points in a game, then they're doing their job right. And Blatz does that exceedingly. Sorry, I just talked about Blatz the whole time. I was going to talk about Andrew Keller. I'm sorry, I got so excited. I love Blatz.
Yeah.
Andrew Keller is the one who impressed me. I was reffing his game last week. I was watching how he fit in with all you. And he's got another rookie, Jeff, who's actually played in the league. But what surprised me the most is that Brad is surrounded by guys like Jeff and Andrew. Lally was out there doing all he could, and George. Brad didn't even have to do a whole lot. Like,
forget about you, Rob.
And I think no, Brad. Like, you guys all usually there's teams where like, okay, Brad, you got to take this and run with it, and we're going to support you. You guys let Brad flash when he had to. But for the most part, you all are carrying your weight, and I was really impressed with what Andrew did for being a rookie in this league. He just took to it like a fish in water, and I do believe. I don't know if we don't do the game stats anymore posted, but I don't know if he netted some. I'm trying to remember if he did.
He had 4 goals. It turned out. Yeah.
Oh shit! Goals. I really sound like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he really impressed me this past week. I knew there's a reason he was stuck in my head. What about you, Rob? Who's made your heartbeat?
Andrew is somebody I know who lives in my neighborhood, so he kind of introduced him to this league. I was trying to get him in for a couple of years, and Sweet and I did play a season of ice with him, RFHL. So we knew once he adapted that he would be a really good player to the RFHL culture, and also very talented as a defenseman, and chipping in 4 goals for us this past week. But the player I wanted to talk about was Mr. Kenton Swade. We'll say his. I'll say his name properly. Kenton has been having a fantastic season for Sweet's team this year. They're playing a lot of good defense in front of them. Alex was. Speaking of guys who miss games, Kenton did miss past week's game, but his first 2 weeks, I was like, man, he is out of his mind right now with the saves he's making. He's just in good position. And I got to play with him last year on the floor, and I was like, man, I wonder if how good he was last year is translating to, he was a defenseman, a floor player in the fall league, and is that translating to making him a better goalie? Because it certainly seems like it. He's just in position this year, is hugging that post, and just having a really, really good season for the hockey club, for Bill Smith's hockey club. And I think Bill's got to be, and I know Sweet is very happy with the way Kenton's been playing this year.
Yep.
So yeah, let's work on talking about the games we have coming up this week. Preview of the week 4 games. We're gonna switch it up a little bit and have each one of us do a preview of this week's coming games, and I will actually start it off. We have the Firestorm Hockey Club, speaking of Kenton, going up against the Fukushima Faceoff, and I think this is going to be the game of the week. And back in the day when we only had one broadcast, they'd be like we said the 6:30 game is, well, that is true to form this week. I think this is going to be a fantastic game with a lot of RFHL veterans facing off. I've already played the Fukushima Faceoff our first week. In the Firestorm Hockey Club, I've done a couple of broadcasts, and I reffed their games. So I've seen every single game they've played this year. This is going to be a really tough hockey game to call. I feel like this one can really, really go either way. And, kind of to leverage into what I said about Kenton, I think it's going to come down to him. I really, truly think this game is going to come down to him and stopping Furlano with those quick shots and Dr. K's booms from the other side of the gym. I think it's going to really come down to Kenton and Sweet and 2.0 with their defense. It's going to be a very defensive-minded game. I think that's I think it's too close to call right now as far as who's going to win this game. And I know Kurt is playing in this game and Sweet's playing in this game. So I was like, guys, I got this one. You guys don't have to talk about your own game. So if I had to pick one, I do think, having played Fukushima face-off the first week, I would have to give them an edge, maybe a flashy goal in overtime for Furlano to win this game. That's my week 4 prediction and specialty for that game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's right.
Get him off the air. Get him off the air.
I know. I was gonna have to offend one of you guys. So
great.
I just took my shot and said, it's got to be the commission I'm going to offend. Kurt, talking about good games, you for the 7:30 game this week, I wanted to have you talk about the Tipsy Talking Twisters taking on Les Treblements.
What? You skipped this? You
skipped. Why don't you let Sweet talk about the 7:30 game? I'll talk about the 8:30 game.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. We'll do the old switcheroo.
Well, first of all, Rob, I disagree with your pick, but I do think Fukushima is a really good team, and I think they could have taken this from us this one. But I disagree with your pick just because I have to. I don't really have.
Regardless, it's the game of the week.
It is I would agree with that. I think that is just based off of the rosters. I think it is the game of the week. But we're not here to talk about that anymore. Rob already covered it. We're moving on to 7:30. 7:30, we got the Storm Surge led by John Foes, Tom Venero, Brandon and Net, Jesse Trado, John Chatterton, Dan Thiesing, and Alan Friedman facing off against Rob Masson, Sinkhole Sidewinders. Guess who I'm going to pick to win?
I have no idea.
Brad Haynes, Alex Packard and Net, Jeff Chopin, rookie, George Donkey Kuhn, coming in from Syracuse, Andrew Keller, rookie, Rob Masson, captain, boo, Chris Lally, rounding out his team. I just got done playing the Storm Surge last week. 2 weeks ago, they didn't fare too well, but they were also missing a lot. Last week, this team, they had everybody on the floor. This is going to be a really dangerous team and a really dangerous game for you guys, I think, Rob. They are 0-3. I think if I looked at their roster, I would probably say there's no way that they're 0-3. So because they haven't won, they're hungry for it. So I think this could be a tough matchup for you. Foes is going to do Foes things. He's probably going to have 4 or 5 goals. Alex did play against him last week for us. Maybe that was part of his plan, is to get an extra shot at them. So he goes up against him again. So whether or not he learned some things from the week before, or if there's no really learning anything from John Foes because he's going to do something totally different this week because he's so good with the puck. Tom out there is a second scorer, is a very good 2. He was a 1 last year. So He fell all the way to the end of the second round, which is like wild. He could easily put up 4 or 5 in a game. I think those two, 2 weeks ago, they weren't there. Last week they were. So they've only played 2 games with each other. I think when they start working well together, passing with each other, doing a 1-2, I think that's one of the most dangerous 1-2 punches in the league. So once those two figure out who wants to go where and who wants to control the puck, they are going to get hot. And I could definitely see them later in the season figuring that out and getting a bunch of goals. Then you got Jesse, who last week had like the goal of the year so far with his spinorama across the front, and then backhand possibly, I think was how he got it. Goal. That was just a sick goal. If you haven't seen it, go to the clip showcase. I mean, it's fantastic. And then the bottom 3, John, Dan, and Ellen, play really great defense. I think, again, this team is just kind of struggling at this point to figure out like who's going to do what, who's going to block the freeze, who's going to take the puck off the freeze, who's going to play like in the middle. Once they find their order of where they're playing, I think this team is going to be really good later in the season. They said it after our game. Hey, we just got to get right for the playoffs. So wherever they finish, like, watch out for them. They're a dangerous team. Your team. Let's see. We got Brad. This is going to be a nice showdown between Brad and Foes. I like this matchup. The two, arguably the best 2 players that we have in the league right now. They always go 1 and 2 overall. I don't know why you'd pick anybody else, even though I was third and Falana was fourth. No disrespect to either of us, but like those two are worlds above us for what they can do with the puck and how well they play with their teammates. I mean, Brad is an excellent passer. Once the two rookies, I think with you guys, it's going to get down to your rookies when Jeff and Keller get better acclimated to the gym. It always takes a couple weeks or seasons. Or Kurt, do you know what's going on yet in the 28 season? And
so, what a loaded question for me. Does it ever look like I really have any idea what's going on up there? I'm present.
You're present. Yeah, exactly. So you should tell rookies, like, it'll take you a couple games and to kind of find the vibe and find where to go and how to position themselves. And once they do, and that'll open up more lanes for Brad to get those passes in. Alex is off to a nice season. Posted 90% last week, got himself a game star. Don't mean to jinx you. I'm sorry if I do. But he looked really nice in the net. But I think it's up to the two rookies. Honestly, your team is going to go as far as those two rookies take you. If they struggle to get acclimated and don't quite catch on as quickly as maybe some of the other rookies or the veterans that are in there, I think you guys might lose a couple games just because of that, from lack of familiarity. In there, George is a great compliment that you got, yourself and Lally at the bottom. I mean, I know you're good. You got 3 last week. Lally got a couple. Like, everybody top to bottom on both of these teams can score, and they got 2 great number ones to kind of lead their team. I'm looking at this game. My prediction in this game is going to be the Storm Surge is going to take it. And I think they're going to run. I think they're going to run away with it. That's going to be my prediction. It's going to be a little bit of an upset that they're going to run away with it. I think they're going to win by 4 or 5 goals. Not necessarily that you guys play bad. I just think that they are hungry for their first win, and they're going to come out really firing. And I think maybe a high scoring game, maybe 13-14 to like 10, something like that. That's my prediction. They're going to win by 4 or 5 goals in there. That math didn't work, but make it work. But yeah, that's my prediction. They're going to a little bit of an upset, if you will, more or less based on the score.
Okay.
An upset based on the score. That's some expert analysis there.
I meant
that's how they usually happen.
Rob said the first game was going to be a 1-goal overtime. I'm saying, even though this looks like a even matchup, I think Storm Surge is going to run away with it by 4 or 5 goals. That the upset is they're going to score a lot more than.
I hear you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Keep giving me a hard time. Why don't
I just found out that Sweet has Chris Collinsworth in his ear doing the analysis of this.
Now let's talk. Now this guy. Now here's a guy. Hey Kurt, why don't you talk about 8:30 so that I can pick apart what you say?
8:30. You can pick it apart. I want to talk about. We're going to have. That's going to be 1,200 pounds of man coming at you, and here's a guy that can. What we got for 8:30, we have the Triple T's, the Tipsy Talking Twisters, playing Les Trembleants. Trembleants, that makes sense.
Best pronunciation yet. Yes.
Just Trembleants.
I typed it out and I was watching Pitch Perfect. No, not ashamed. I love that movie.
I love it too.
And I typed out in my recap the troublemakers.
The troublemaker. Oh, okay. Wow. Well, I mean, there's been times when we've just changed the names of the teams randomly and the write-ups and stuff, but that gets a little confusing, especially as we move in all these seasons. No, I think I like that Dan was trying to be fancy and everything with that team name, and I love hearing guys struggle with it every time. I took French in school, so I don't have that hard a time with it, but I just refuse to give them the satisfaction of calling it its proper name. So the Trembleants are taking on the Triple T's here, the Tipsy Talking Twisters. Newberry put together a team of he's got some like intensity on the team. Conco, Whitmire, they never stop. They just keep running. Newberry's the same way. He's stonewalls people. He's tenacious. He's like one of those flies that flies around you where you're floating in a pool and just won't leave you alone. And then the minute you like give up on him, he'll take the puck away and score on you. So I think, they're at the bottom of the standings. I feel similar to what you're saying about the Storm Surge. I think they're hungry. I think that they're finally getting everything to click here. I think Conco is ready to be slotted into this team and play the role that everyone envisioned him playing, which is just running circles around people and putting in the goals. I think he's got a great supporting cast. Matt, who's played with us up at Westgate for a few winter tournaments and stuff. I think he fits great in the league. I was going to say all the rookies, I think they're not having much of a learning curve. I mean, heck, Andrew put in 4 goals last week. Jeff's played, and we all know he can score. I mean, the rookies are doing great. I think the learning curve is getting shorter and shorter. I think they're really gonna bring it to Dan's team. Here's the thing: 2 great goalies. Matt has had some really stellar games where he's just taken over and carried his team. He's had down games. All goalies have that, except maybe Mark. Brett's usually pretty solid. But I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Mark have a truly bad game. I think he can single-handedly win a game for his team if he had to. Luckily, he doesn't have to. He's got some great defenders in front of him. The scoring firepower on the Trumbull Ants is what I really wonder if that can keep pace with the scoring power of the Twisters, if they can get up to full strength. If they can get all of the guys who can score on that team scoring, I don't know who. I think all the defenders are going to have their hands full covering all of them. Up till now, they've been able to get away with covering. Haran's their leading scorer right now. And I think if you would have asked anybody at the beginning of the season, they would probably have Conco being the leading scorer. So he's only played 2 of the 3 games. We know Dan can put in goals for the Trumbull Ants. Sean, another rookie who he looked really dejected after their loss last week. I believe they did lose last week, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He looked really dejected. I said to him, like, hey, were you having fun out there? And he's like, no, I wanted to win. I'm like, all right. I don't want to be playing this guy next week. Fish and Chips probably has put on even more muscle and lost more weight since last week. So, I mean, eventually this guy's just going to be like a triathlete running around out there. And nothing has been let go on his slap shot. He can still put one in from across the court. I'm interested to see how these goalies hold up. I know we always say it comes down to a goalie battle. I think this isn't going to be so much a goalie battle. It's going to be of which of these teams finally has all of their pieces come together, because I feel like both of them are right on the cusp of having it work. I think one of them is really going to have it work this week. I'm going to go with the Twisters for the to get the win this week.
Okay. Good.
I think they can pull it off. I'm confident those guys are going to get the pieces together. I know Newbury wants to win for his team, so that's where I'm going.
All right.
And for the final game of the week, definitely one not to forget. You got the Meteor Mayhem, who are unbeaten. No, they're 2-1. I apologize. Taking on the Tsunami Tacticians. The Tsunami Tacticians, who put up 26 goals in a game this year. Sweet, I'd say this is a battle of 2 different teams, 2 different styles completely.
Yeah, for sure. This game here, you got a high scoring offense in Teal over there, and then you got on the other side. I mean, Paul is.
Yeah.
Gosh, where did Paul's looks like he's I don't know, 25 instead of 55. I don't know how old Paul is. Maybe he's an ageless wonder. Who knows? But he's having a great season.
I think he's a cyborg.
Yeah, I think so too. To be honest. But yeah, different styles. This game, it really intrigues me because of what you mentioned, like different styles. I mean, Teal likes to just take a lot of shots, run up and down the court, and Black Meteor Mayhem there. They seem to just kind of be a little bit more methodical, work the puck up, other than when Paul just shoots it off the freeze. But the goalies are different in this one. Brett against Tim. Different goalie styles there as well. But yeah, this is gonna. I'm excited for this matchup. This is RFHL After Dark. You all should come out there and watch the game. Come out, have some checks. Official sponsor of hockey. And come out here and watch this great game. What do you think, Kurt? How do you think this one's gonna play out?
Well, I agree. 2 different teams. I was impressed with all the goals they put up in that game. They're a team full of goal scorers. What I'm worried about in this game is I think they're going to need a team of defenders because I think the likes of Paul, Dave King, Bob Haynes, all veterans, all played with each other, all know how to send a pass to each other's stick. And then you got Cody out there running around like a madman who can score from anywhere. And I'll be honest, I don't know too much about Mike. I don't think
he played in the winter. He played in the winter.
Yeah, I think I've only seen one game that he's played in this season though, so I can't speak to him, and I don't want to bullshit my way through it.
Allegedly, I'll tell you this about Mike. The thing I said was Bob. Bob said, all he said to me was like, you should have seen Mike about 20 years ago. So again, he used to be a real good player. Apparently, that's all Bob said. And if that's what Bob says to me, like, this dude,
that's pretty high praise.
Yeah. So I think the hockey smarts on that team is going to give Kensley fits. I think unless one of the guys on the tacticians or two of the guys, like maybe Anders can be getting in front of some of these shots, or maybe Shane can body up to some of these guys. I think they're going to be giving Tim fits all night because I think he's just going to be getting. Now, granted, I watched Jake, Kyle, both Jake actually, and Rob Anders. They're good. They could take this. They could take the puck away from you really well. So the thing is, unless they're able to stop the passing game, I think Tim's going to have a lot of holes in him. And so I'm going to go with the Mayhem on this.
I agree, and I think the passing, and then we'll let Rob touch on it because I think Rob played this team last week. But I think that the passing is what burned him last week with Brad being such a good passer around there. I do think the biggest weakness for Teal is like someone's got it. Someone like whoever of the three, like somebody say like I'm gonna play defense, like I'm gonna stay back. Like they all can score and they all can score in bunches and get a ton. But especially against the Meteor Mayhem, where they don't run out, they don't run as quick, they don't run as fast, or not like as much forechecking in your face, that they do pass the puck. And I think I could see Teal just chasing it around if they don't like settle into like a zone, a position, somebody stay back, like just you really. I think defense right now they should really focus on the defense in this one and try to win this game like 9-8, like really try to slow it down. And play some hard defense, mix it up. Rob, what
Reddit can do that.
Yeah,
and I was going to say we haven't mentioned Reddit yet. He did not play last week against my team, and I had the privilege of he actually ended up playing for Brad week 1 when Brad was out. So don't sleep on Reddit for this game. He does bring that defensive presence that I kind of think they were missing last week against us, and we weren't too upset that he missed the game because, man, Reddit can play some good defense and he's just fast. And what I really learned about him, having played with him for the first time, is his shot is pretty wicked. I mean, it's a really good snapshot that he has. But with all that being said, the veteran presence of Meteor Mayhem, I really do feel like they'll take this game this week, and I give them the edge.
Geez, Kyle's going to slash all our tires in the parking lot now.
Yeah,
no, he's going to say something.
He's going to use it for motivation.
He will. If anyone will use it for motivation, Antilla will use that for motivation. Actually, all these guys will. Rob Anders is going to be stewing when he hears this one.
I hope Rob Anders hears this. Nobody plays defense. I'll show you defense, and he's going to get 20 blocks.
Exactly.
And I'll be like, hey, good. If I got to tell you to play defense to get 20 blocks, and then play defense.
Absolutely.
That's right.
We can take credit for it working out just like we thought it would.
Exactly. Yeah. Rob's going to come up after the game and be like, who plays defense? And I'll be like, well, you're welcome. Did you win? You're welcome. We got your win. So if they win, it's because of us telling them to play defense. That's I'm taking the credit.
Sure thing.
Isn't this what Chatterton wanted? Didn't Chatterton want some ruffle some feathers and get some chatting going? And this is what the old school COJ, POJ.
Yep.
I mean, we won't turn it into the. It got a little toxic at the end of the last podcast segments because I started to take things a little personally, and after a while, after you peck at someone just long enough, it does start to go past that point. But no, a little good-natured ribbing. Let's put it this way: I think we all know we respect the hell out of everyone in this league, and everyone brings their strengths to the game. I don't think any team's complete when they're. If one of the players isn't doing what they're known to do.
Absolutely.
I think you guys have all been captains. I mean, I think I specifically draft players to do that. Well, I only get 1 goal a game. That's all I want you. That's exactly why I drafted you. I can't do much. I want you to do what you know how to do. And that's why I picked the players and the team, and I molded the team. I think in this gym, it's the chemistry of the team, the makeup of the team. Everybody's got a role. Everybody's got a position. I don't think any of us really care who's on our team at all, top to bottom. I'll take any 56 of you.
Exactly.
But I talked about Jamie earlier. I picked you to block shots. Like Jamie's like, I'm not going to score. I don't want you to score. I want you to block shots. That's that's why I have you on my team. So everybody does a little bit differently, and the stats don't always reflect like how great or how influential that player could be on the game. So I think some guys take stats a little too hard to heart. I mean, you do what you got to do. You might have all zeros across the board, but you laid the stick down. You got it. Yeah, you blocked that shot off your foot and you're hobble into the side, but that was with 1 second left and the goal was wide open and you saved the game. Like, awesome. Maybe you probably didn't even get credit for the block. So
no, I was going to say you wouldn't get credit for the block. Well, George Kuhn had told me he's a stats guy, and he said I'm going to come up with a new stat for certain guys. I think he was talking about me. Just offensive chances thwarted. Like, It's not pretty how I do it, and it's very unorthodox. But hey, they didn't get a goal. I mean, it's probably because I fell on them, but it worked.
The stats don't tell the whole story, guys, and that's why we encourage each and every one of you, even if you're not in the league currently, to watch YouTube TV that we have. Or I'm sorry, not YouTube TV, plain old YouTube, but the RFHL is on YouTube, and we're broadcasting all 4 games every week now with folks who've just started doing broadcasting games, and folks who have been doing it for a few years, like your Bill Smith, who is also one of the league's. He's been doing it for a living.
He's like in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame, or
I think so. He's got to be. He's got to be getting.
It's a great way to ride into your game and to leave your game when you can listen to games while you're driving to and from. If you play in one of the middle games, you've got it made. It's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. Sweet. We'll flip it to you for today.
Yeah. So we'll send out. I don't know when this is gonna go live. Whenever you guys watch it, Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday on your way in, or when you're sitting out there getting the last minute information for how to beat the team you're about to go play when you come in. Whenever you guys watch, I hope you guys are watching it. I hope you guys appreciate us putting these together. We're on 4 weeks now. We'll keep rotating through every week. Different people in here doing this, doing the POJ. Maston, Anders, and 2.0 kind of took it over and kind of came up with a little game plan. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you guys did too. This took me back. I used to do them all the time with Pete R. We'd have the clock behind us. We'd have, of course, checks going on. Official sponsor of hockey. It's just a lot of fun. So I'm glad. Thanks for Rob for inviting me on for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And just like how we end all things in the RFHL world.
Is it Wednesday?
Wednesday yet?